A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, Padme Amidala was considered to be one of the most influential, one of the most popular, and one of the most important individuals in the entirety of the High Republic during the time of the Clone Wars and during the time before the rise of the Galactic Empire. So today we are going to dive into the short history of Padme Amidala, her positions in power, and how she effectively became one of the most popular individuals throughout the entirety of the Galactic Republic, and how she became one of the most important individuals of all time when it came to the Star Wars universe. So without further ado, here we go. But first, as always, we start with a little bit of a breakdown. Before becoming Queen of Naboo, Padme Amidala was heavily involved in public service and politics from an extreme young age. At the age of 8 years old, she joined the apprentice legislator, participated in refugee work, became a junior senatorial advisor at the age of 12, and was a supervisor for Theed Palace, the main capital of Naboo. And by the time that she had reached 14 years old, she had already been part of the Legislative Youth Program and eventually became Queen of Naboo at the age of 14, where she then was directly involved in a major conflict, that of course being the invasion of Naboo by the Trade Federation. So obviously, from a very young age, Padme Amidala knew what she wanted to do with her life and how she wanted to influence the entirety of the Republic, and at the age of 14 years old, obviously became queen and had herself situated in the Naboo conflict, where she had to escape the planet of Naboo, go all the way to the planet of Tatooine, learn about slavery out there in the Outer Rim, then go all the way to Coruscant to learn firsthand about the corruption of the Senate when it came to Coruscant itself, and personally was responsible for the eviction of Chancellor Valorum, as Chancellor Palpatine would put himself into power shortly thereafter. Shortly after the invasion of Naboo, however, Padme Amidala would then serve her full 2 terms as Queen of Naboo, but she would also be extremely popular during this time. So popular, in fact, that multiple individuals actually wanted to amend the Constitution to make it to where that she would actually serve full-time as the Queen and keep her in office for a lot longer. But fortunately, she then denied that request, immediately passed over the torch over to Queen Jamila, who then immediately asked Padme to become the next senator of Naboo, which she gracefully accepted. This is where things get extremely interesting. During the time of 25 BBY, Padme Amidala would become the senator of Naboo, and about the time of 22 BBY, the Clone Wars would actually begin, where several assassination attempts would be put on Padme Amidala's life by Newt Gunray, who would then join up with the Confederacy of Independent Systems, while also still continuing to want to assassinate Padme Amidala. All the way during the time from the beginning, all the way to the end of the Clone Wars, Padme Amidala would serve her time as Chancellor of Naboo, and would also serve her time as a politician and a negotiator, as well as a diplomat for the Grand Army of the Republic and for the entirety of the Republic itself, as she traveled to multitudes of different planets using her personality and using her charisma as a tool to bring multitudes of different planets over to the side of the Republic. This is unfortunately where things take a turn for the very worst. After serving her entire life as both Queen and Senator of Naboo, she unfortunately, during the time of 19 BBY, just about 3 or 4 days after the rise of the Empire and after the end of the Clone Wars, was assassinated by a rogue Jedi. Which Jedi it was, we cannot really say, but she had her funeral on the planet of Naboo in the Palace of Theed, and she was treated with high honors as the former Queen of Naboo and as the Senator of the planet of Naboo, and one of the most popular and heavily influential Nabooians that we had ever seen in the entirety of the Star Wars galaxy.